Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. I know many of you have been watching the Browns closely, especially with everything going on around the quarterback position and how the team is trying to balance youth, experience, and development. And this latest update about Shedeur Sanders, yes, the Colorado Buffaloes legend himself, is really sparking some interesting conversations around Cleveland. You see, Sanders has been getting some attention from the Browns coaching staff, particularly from head coach Kevin Stefanski. The buzz is that the Browns are encouraged by his progress in practice, which is no small feat. But here's the kicker: despite all that positive feedback, Shedeur Sanders continues to see others promoted ahead of him on the depth chart. It's like the more he trains, the more he hears about his potential, yet he's still stuck behind some familiar names. Now, to give you some context, this summer Sanders was the fourth-string quarterback in the Browns' quarterback room, trailing behind Joe Flacco, Dillon Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett. This was expected, given that he's coming from a college environment and adjusting to the NFL's speed and complexity. But what's really interesting is how, even after Kenny Pickett was traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, an event that you'd think might open some doors, Bailey Zappe has surprisingly snuck ahead of Sanders on the depth chart. That's right, even with the trades and injuries, Sanders still finds himself in a bit of a limbo, not quite getting the opportunities that many might have anticipated. And here's where things get even more intriguing. Cleveland's head coach Kevin Stefanski and his staff have all but confirmed that Sanders remains behind Zappe for now. But at the same time, they aren't dismissing the potential for him to see the field at some point this season. It's likely to be in garbage time, when the game is already decided, and the Browns want to give him some real experience in a controlled environment. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's part of the developmental process. The Browns are taking their time with Sanders. They see the talent, they see the potential, but they also understand the learning curve he faces in terms of getting the play called, understanding the game plan, and executing pre-snap reads. According to Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland, the Browns are happy with Sanders' progress, but he's still climbing the learning curve. She pointed out that Sanders is getting plenty of extra reps during practice, both during team drills and post-practice sessions, which is a good sign. It shows that the coaching staff is investing in his growth, trying to speed up his development. But and this is key, they don't believe he's quite ready to step in as the QB2 and hold down the position for a sustained period. They see him more as a spot player for now, maybe handling emergency duty if needed, but not yet as a reliable backup. This situation with Sanders raises some interesting questions about the Browns' long-term plans at quarterback. It's no secret that Cleveland has been in a bit of a flux at that position in recent years, trying to find stability and consistency. Deshaun Watson's injury history and recent performance have made the front office cautious about relying too heavily on him. So, having a young, talented player like Sanders in the pipeline makes sense on paper, but the reality is that he's still very much in the early stages of his NFL journey. The Browns drafted him with the idea that he could develop into a future starter, but it's clear they're taking their time and managing expectations. Now, let's talk about Sanders himself. Coming from Colorado, where he made a name for himself as a dynamic and talented quarterback, he possesses a skill set that many scouts admire. He's got the arm talent, the mobility, and the leadership qualities that can't be taught overnight. But transitioning from college to the NFL is a different beast altogether. The speed of the game, the complexity of NFL defenses, and the mental demands all require a steep learning curve. Sanders is still working through that, and the Browns are wisely giving him space to develop, rather than rushing him onto the field before he's fully ready. And it's not just about the on-field mechanics. The Browns are also watching how Sanders handles the mental aspect of the game, reading defenses, making split-second decisions, and executing under pressure. That's why they've been giving him extra reps in practice, trying to simulate game-like situations and see how he reacts. It's a process, and it's one that can't be rushed if Cleveland wants to maximize his potential without risking setbacks. But let's not forget, this isn't just about Sanders. It speaks to the bigger picture of what the Browns are trying to build. The franchise has been in a bit of a rebuild phase, trying to find stability at quarterback while also developing their young talent. They've got their eyes on the future, and Sanders' development is part of that plan. They're not just trying to win games this year, they're trying to set up a foundation for sustained success. And that means being patient with young players, even if they show flashes of brilliance early on. In terms of the current season, the Browns are sitting in a position where they're still very much in the playoff hunt. They've got a solid defense, a reliable running game, and a coaching staff that's known for its strategic approach. But the quarterback position remains a question mark. Deshaun Watson has had his ups and downs, and if Sanders can develop into a competent backup or even a future starter, that could give Cleveland a significant advantage down the line. Having a young, talented quarterback who's familiar with the NFL game and can step in when needed is invaluable, especially in a competitive division like the AFC North. Now, let's talk about the AFC North for a moment, because it's a division that's been incredibly competitive in recent years. The Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers all have their strengths, and Cleveland's success often hinges on how well their quarterback can perform under pressure. If Sanders continues to develop and eventually earns his shot, it could change the dynamics of the division. But for now, he's still in that learning phase, and the Browns are being careful with him. They see his potential, but they're also aware that rushing him into action before he's ready could do more harm than good. This situation with Sanders also reflects a broader trend in the NFL. Teams are increasingly investing in young quarterbacks and giving them time to grow behind experienced veterans. It's a smart approach, especially for a team like Cleveland, which is aiming to build something sustainable. The Browns want to avoid the pitfalls of rushing a young QB into action before he's fully prepared, which can lead to setbacks and lost confidence. Instead, they're choosing to develop Sanders methodically, giving him the tools and experience he needs to succeed in the long run. Looking ahead, the next few weeks of the season will be crucial for Sanders' development. The Browns will continue to give him reps in practice, evaluate his progress, and decide the right moment for him to see extended action. It's possible that he might get some snaps in a game or two, especially if the team's situation calls for it. But the key takeaway here is that Cleveland isn't in a rush. They're focused on building a quarterback who can lead them in future seasons, not just for the current one. And let's not forget, the pressure isn't just on Sanders. The entire organization is in a phase of growth and transition. The coaching staff, led by Stefanski, is highly respected for their strategic thinking, and they're carefully managing the roster to maximize their chances of success. The Browns have been around the NFL block long enough to know that patience and smart development are the keys to building a winning franchise. Sanders' journey is just beginning, and while it may take time for him to become the centerpiece of Cleveland's offense, the foundation is being laid now. So in summary, what does all this mean for Browns fans? It's a story of patience, potential, and strategic growth. Sanders has shown flashes of talent and has the backing of the coaching staff, but he's still learning the intricacies of the NFL game. Cleveland's approach is cautious but optimistic, knowing that developing a young quarterback takes time. Meanwhile, the team continues to compete at a high level, aiming for a playoff run, while quietly preparing for a future where Sanders might be the guy leading the charge. It's a fascinating storyline that reflects the broader NFL trend of nurturing young talent and building for sustained success. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on Sanders' development? Do you believe he's got what it takes to be the future of Cleveland's quarterback position? Or do you think the team should be more aggressive in giving him opportunities? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. Thanks for being with us, and as always, go Browns.